Okay, ready? Everybody ready? I don't have my gavel, but. Welcome to the May 28th Mayor and Council meeting. The meeting will come to order at 7:01. We're being broadcast on channels 34 and 43 and the township's YouTube channel, Township of Fairfield, Essex. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, notice of this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975, and has been given by posting a notice of the scheduled dates and change in meeting time of all the conference and regular meetings of the Mayor and Council of the Township of Fairfield on the bulletin board in the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk, and by serving notice thereof to the Progress and Herald newspaper on December 21st, 2023.
Thank you, Denise. Please call the roll.
Councilman McGlynn.
Here.
Councilman Campisi.
Here.
Councilman LaForgia.
Here.
Council President Sefeli.
Here.
Mayor Glees.
Here. If anyone wishes to comment on items on tonight's agenda, please come forward and do so. Seeing no one, we'll close that portion. Okay, we'll go right to communications. Police Department. I have some news in the police department. Recently, 2 Fairfield police officers who previously served on task forces were honored by outside entities. On May 7th, Detective Rick Alves and members of the New Jersey State Police Auto Theft Task Force North received meritorious service citation from the 200 Club of Passaic County for their investigations, which took down 6 chop shops, recovered 68 stolen cars, and resulted in the seizure of narcotics and fraudulent documents. On May 23rd, Officer Louis Biscotti and members of the Drug Enforcement Administration Task Force were honored by the New Jersey Narcotics Enforcement Officers Association for seizing 3 pill presses, fentanyl powder, and over $1 million in cryptocurrency. We have some news of our chief. Chief Manning was elected as the Vice President at Large for the New Jersey State Police Association of Chiefs of Police. This new position will allow him to work with other law enforcement executives and state elected officials regarding future laws and statewide policy concerning law enforcement. He will be sworn into his new role in June. Good going, Chief.
Congratulations.
Police Unity Tour. On May 9th, Fairfield served as the host and starting point for the Police Unity Tour. 8 officers participated in the event, raising $20,000 to benefit the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial and the families of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Sergeant Ian Rasmussen was one of the 3 officers who were profiled on Fox Nation's Officer Down, honoring the fallen. Congratulations to Lieutenant Tracy, Sergeant Rasmussen, Sergeant Nemick, Officer Cleary, Officer DiCarlo, Officer Perrette, Officer Reynolds, and Officer Guevara. The LEAD program. The Department and the Municipal Alliance Committee hosted LEAD Day on May 20th. It was the culmination of Fairfield officers presenting anti-drug and alcohol curriculum to 6th grade class of Churchill School. Students received T-shirts, pizza, and were treated to a demonstration by the K-9 unit of Essex County Sheriff's Department and the landing and tour of Atlantic Healthcare's helicopter. A special thanks goes out to Corporal High, Officers Paterno, Guevara, and Detective Kochi for instructing the class. The Police Foundation golf outing is coming up Monday, June 3rd at the Knoll Country Club. Shotgun start at 1 p.m. Anyone interested in playing can contact Lieutenant Casandino. Grant application. Given the recent success by several Essex County towns, including Fairfield, in receiving federal funding to help purchase automated license plate reading cameras in 2024, a consortium of Essex County law enforcement agencies has applied for another grant for fiscal year 2025 through Congresswoman Cheryl's office. This grant, which could be as high as $5 million, would allow a number of Essex County agencies to all have the same computer-aided dispatch and records management system, making information sharing between agencies easier and faster. It also puts most of West Essex towns as close as ever to having a regional police fire dispatch center, which would help reduce costs to each municipality involved and increase shared services. At present, the Congresswoman's office has preliminarily selected this project as one of the 15 they are looking at in 2025. And there'll be more to follow on that. Okay, that's it for the police department. For the library, I really don't have too much tonight. Just visit their website to check on this month's events. The rear patio and the front vestibule are all finished, so go check that out. They did a great job on that. And that's all I have tonight. Council President Cifelli.
Thank you, Mayor. I have very little tonight, but speaking of grants from OEM, Lieutenant Casandino did tell me that he did submit a 2024 EMAA grant through the New Jersey Grants Portal. We also discussed the operations from the fire we had back in April at the animal hospital, where we managed to save 50 dogs and cats. And he stayed through the entire fire from start to finish. And he had suggestions that he's going to bring back, I think, to the chief and to the fire department about different ways of handling that type of operation. Also from finance, we did receive some of the senior tax freeze booklets, the blue booklets. Unfortunately, as fast as they came in, they went out, and more are anticipated any day now. And that's basically all I have.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Councilman
Welcome, Mayor.
LaForgia?
Mayor, very briefly, for recreation, the summer programs are up and running, ready for all of them. The fields are all prepped and ready. We have camp getting ready to be started at the end of June. We have our fireworks on July 2nd. Our fireworks celebration will be July 2nd. We had, well, just to mention, Tom Paterno was our Grand Marshal for the West Essex Town Parade that was canceled on yesterday, but they did have a little ceremony up at the firehouse, which we attended, and we honored him as the Grand Marshal for this year. And of course, the VFW had their ceremony at the post on Plymouth Street. And for the planning board, we have a couple of cases tomorrow night that we'll be hearing. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, John. Councilman McGlynn?
Okay, since our last meeting, our volunteer firefighters responded to 35 different alarms. There was animal hospital rescue, which Councilman Cifelli spoke about. One of the firefighters did get smoke inhalation, okay, during that, but he's fine right now. But that was a tremendous effort by our department, and they got all the animals out safe. They also made multiple elevator rescues throughout the town on the last couple of weeks. Also on May 9th, they responded to a small kitchen fire, and on the 17th, there was another animal rescue from a tree that they had responded to and saw through. I also want to commend our volunteer fire department and our police department on their presence at the Memorial Day celebration, not celebration, but Memorial Day service that we had at the firehouse. And congratulations again to Mr. Paterno, who was our Grand Marshal from Fairfield, and also to Brian Gallagher over at the VFW for all his hard work and putting together a tremendous ceremony over there that again was attended by our police and volunteer fire department, and they represented our town well. So that's my report.
Thank you, Michael. Councilman Campese?
Thank you, Mayor. So on May 15th, we had our senior luncheon, which was a great and well-attended event by our senior community. I would like to thank Lenny Russo for his great presentation on mental health, as well as Chief Manna on his Q&A for any concerns that the seniors community might have had with the town. So again, thank you for that, both Lenny and Chief Manna. On May 20th, we had Lead Day. I just want to congratulate the 6th grade on graduating from the LEAD program. It was another great event, so I'm happy that everything worked out good. The weather was great. And then Friday, June 7th, we're having our first annual movie night. Music starts at 7 p.m. There will be a magic show at 7:30, and then the movie will, as soon as it gets dark, around 8:30, we'll present the movie. So it's going to be a great event on June 7th, Friday, June 7th. So, and I have no new updates for the Environmental Commission. So
Okay,
thank you.
thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Mayor.
That sounds great. I hope we get a good showing out there for the movie.
I have a question. Do you know what the movie is?
Yeah, Trolls, bands
Oh.
back together.
Okay, thank you.
And everything's posted on the website.
Thought you were going to stump him on that.
No, I didn't think so. I'm just curious for
And
myself.
Jason Street made a great flyer with Denise's assistance. So it's all on the website. So thank you, as well as Denise and Jason.
Okay. If there are no comments or corrections, may I have a motion to approve the April 22nd, 2024 regular and executive meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Councilman LaForgia, Councilman Cifelli.
Councilman LaForgia. Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. Okay, at this point, I have a presentation to make. It's the 30th Annual Lewis Bay Future Municipal Leaders contest that they do every year. And we've had great luck with this. I read all the applications, and boy, I'll tell you, I know Peter was on as one of the judges, and they were really good.
Yeah, fantastic.
So Christopher Colon, and he gets an award. He's not here tonight, but he gets an award as a state semifinalist, and he did a really great job. His paper was well done, well written, and Mia Palazzo also got an honorable mention. Really well done papers, and I just wanted to say that tonight. And we will be getting these to Christopher and Mia. Okay, we have our first reading and hearing of ordinance number 2024-08. It's an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 11, Property Maintenance with new Section 14-11, Bamboo Prohibited/Regulated to prohibit the future planting and regulate the existing plantings of invasive running bamboo within the Township of Fairfield. May I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Councilman Campese.
Second.
Councilman McGlynn.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. Next reading, Denise, is?
June 24th.
Okay. All right. B, ordinance 2024-09. It's an ordinance of the Township of Fairfield, Essex County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 45 zoning of the Township Code to prohibit short-term rentals. Any communication with that, Jim, or?
Sure, Mayor. We've been having some residential homes that have been renting out space as Airbnbs. And the neighbors, rightfully so, don't like the transient part of that situation. And therefore, we checked with our attorneys and we came up with an ordinance to ban short-term rentals, of course, with the exception of hotels in all zones throughout the town, not just residential.
Yeah, short-term rentals coming into any community can be problematic, I know. Okay, man, motion to introduce?
So moved.
Councilman LaForgia,
Second.
Councilman Campese,
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
aye. Next reading, also 624, Denise?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, C, ordinance 2024-10, an ordinance of the Township of Fairfield, Essex County, New Jersey, authorizing the transfer of funded parkland within the Township of Fairfield to Friends of the Van Ness House Incorporated, Block 2406, Lot 3. This is to provide really just restoration, preservation, and improvement to the property without really changing its intent. And the people who will take this over will be doing that. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Councilman Cifelli,
Second.
Councilman McGlynn.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. 624, Denise?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance of the Township of Fairfield, Essex County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 45 zoning, Section 45-17, tree protection of the Township Code. I guess this enhances our tree removal regulations. Motion to introduce,
So moved.
Councilman McGlynn,
Second.
Councilman Cifelli.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mayor, if I could interject.
Sure.
That ordinance there is actually a state mandated ordinance, and it actually falls under stormwater regulations. So we had to adopt that. We basically followed a lot of it. Some of it we were able to make small changes in it, but that's, again, another one of the state mandates from the DEP.
Okay, thanks, Jim. All right. This is the second reading and adoption of ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance of the Township of Fairfield, Essex County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 3, Police Regulations of the Township Code. And this is the one that updates our towing and storage regulations, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. May I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Councilman McGlynn,
Second.
Council President Cifelli.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. If anyone in the audience wishes to speak on this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Councilman Campese,
Second.
Councilman McGlynn.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. Okay, at this point, if there are no questions from the council, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-07.
So moved.
Councilman Cifelli,
Second.
Councilman LaForgia.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman Campese.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. Council President. Consent agenda, Administration Department resolutions. A, resolution establishing a Mount Laurel Subcommittee and appointing members to assist the township in complying with its affordable housing obligations. B, resolution calling for the modernization of the Open Public Records Act and the swift passage of S-2930/A-4045. C, authorization to renew annual Zoom Pro subscription from QuickText in the amount of $159.83. D, authorization to hire Ahira Consultants Incorporated for asbestos sampling of the roof at Firehouse Number 1 in the amount of $4,000. E, authorization to replace the roof at Firehouse Number 1 from Solutions Architecture Corp. in the amount of $8,625. Building Department Resolutions. F, authorization to refund a permit fee of $1,426 to the Board of Education. I believe that's because they're exempt from, okay. Engineering Department resolutions. G, authorization to extend the contract between the Township of Fairfield and RGC Associates to provide engineering inspections for the year 2024. H, authorizing a partial refund of a water meter application fee to Block 2703, Lot 24, in the amount of $800. I, resolution accepting a road opening bond number 77661-94474 from Elm Group Incorporated for Block 1801, Lot 7, in the amount of $2,500. Fire Department Resolution J, authorization to purchase turnout gear from Whitmere Public Safety Group in the amount of $31,308. Item K, authorization to purchase equipment from New Jersey Fire Equipment Company in the amount of $2,505.48. L, authorizing the renewal of the copier lease agreement with Tri-Tech Rico office equipment at Firehouse in the amount of $780 per year for 5 years for a total of $3,900. Item M, authorization to perform advanced cleaning and inspection of fire gear from Red Line Gear Cleaning in the amount of $5,025. Item N, authorization to purchase a fire investigation trailer from Performance Trailers Incorporated in the amount of $7,879. The Police Department resolutions. O, authorization of renewal service contract with SureTech for the Detective Bureau in the amount of $2,963. P, authorization for annual contract payment of $44,436.80 to LensLock for body-worn cameras. Q, authorization to amend Resolution 2024-236 to purchase radar units from R&R Radar Incorporated in the reduced amount of $1,900. Item R, authorization to hire Crystal Pappas as police dispatcher effective May 24th, 2024. S, County of Essex, Township of Fairfield Substance Use Disorder Advocate Service, RISE Initiative Uniform Shared Services Agreement. Public Works Resolutions. T, authorization to hire All-American Sewer Service Incorporated relating to the cleanout of multiple catch basins and manholes at Monsanto Road and Martin Place in the amount of $7,600. Item U, authorization to hire A&C Plumbing and Heating Incorporated to perform maintenance and repairs at the Recreation Complex in the amount of $2,095. Item V, authorization to repair street sweeper number 518 from Northeast Sweepers and Rentals in the amount of $2,807.30. Item W, authorizing the renewal of copier lease agreement with Tri-Tech Rico office equipment for the DPW in the amount of $792 per year for a 5-year total of $3,960. Item X, authorization to purchase tires for Engine 2 from Barnwell House of Tires in the amount of $1,729.70. Y, authorization to renew yearly software support for Census with Core in Maine in the amount of $2,450. Recreation Department Resolution Z, authorizing the approval of 2024 summer camp fees. Double A, approval of 2024 fees for recreation fall sports programs. Double B, authorization to hire seasonal part-time summer help in the Parks Department for 2024. Tax collector resolutions, double C through double T as stated on the agenda. Municipal clerk resolutions, W, authorizing the purchase of customized permanent record books from MGL Printing Solutions in the amount of $3,274. Item double V, authorizing the yearly contribution to the West Essex project graduation for the year 2024 from the Fairfield Municipal Alliance Committee in the amount of $1,500. Item W, authorization to purchase apparel for the Lead School Program sponsored by the Fairfield Municipal Alliance Committee from Alfred Sports and Apparel in the amount of $1,610. Item double X, authorization to renew a professional service contract with General Code relating to the Township Code Book for the year 2024. Item double Y, approval to issue masseuse license to Mecca Integrated Medical Center. Double Z, approval to issue coin-operated games license to Funtime Junction. Triple A, approval to issue coin-operated game license to Kids Empire. Triple B, approval to issue coin-operated game license to Monster Golf. And Triple C, approval of an off-premise 50/50 raffle number 2024-05 for the FCSA Children's Fund on September 12th, 2024. If there are no questions, comments, or corrections, may I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as stated?
Mayor, if
So
I may,
moved.
Yes.
if I may just jump in.
Sure.
Item E, under the Administration Department Resolutions, authorization to replace the roof at Firehouse Station 1 in the amount of $8,625.
Yes.
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Okay.
That's for Solutions Architecture's fees for that
The
project.
fees, okay. All
Okay.
right. We'll clear that up. So that's for the fees.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to accept the report as amended.
Councilman McGlynn, and did I hear Peter? Did you second
Yes.
that?
Second?
Okay. Councilman Campisi.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman Campisi.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye, with the exception of Triple C, no vote.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. Okay. Councilman Cifelli.
Okay. Guess we got to pay the bills, huh? Mr. McCluskey, our Chief Financial Officer, has certified that the funds are available. I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills with the exception of bill number 24-01108
Second.
in the amount,
Sorry. I was trying to stop you
Okay.
now.
in the amount of $5,449,164.93.
Second.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman Campisi.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to pay bill number 24-01108.
Second.
Council President Cifelli.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn.
Aye.
Councilman Campisi.
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
No vote. Okay, brings us to written communications. Do we have any written communications? Okay, seeing none. Brings us to unfinished business. Anyone, the council, have any unfinished business? New business? No?
No.
Okay. Public comment session. Anybody wishing to comment tonight, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Aaron Lowe, 72 Pier Lane. I'm here, obviously, we've been going back and forth about paving Martin's Lane. We understand, right? Never really interested me, but you guys caught my attention. My grandmother came home the other day, said that Mayor Gleese told her that that in no uncertain terms, the road wasn't getting paved, and we're gonna stop plowing your road. My grandmother's 88 years old. My mother, who's 65 years old, is disabled with a traumatic brain injury. Now you have my attention. I never in my life thought that my grandmother has lived in this town for 65 years. My grandfather was on the fire department nearly 60 years before he died. Would be treated in such a way. And then to my astonishment, I thought there's no way that's possible. My neighbor got a letter from Mr. Gasparini. This letter doesn't really say much. It says there's an easement that's valid because there's an easement. No one's questioning that there's an easement on Martin's Lane for a sewer line. It goes in to say about a right-of-way that was in a deed in 1967. No one's questioning the validity of that. My issue is I decided I would do a little research to see how a roadway goes from a private road to a public road. And there's many ways. And in the letter it says, it was determined that it's never been, the road was never dedicated to the township of Fairfield. Well, that's not true. There's multiple ways a road can be dedicated. By expressly dedicating it via ordinance, which didn't happen, but impliedly, the township has accepted dedication of the road since at least 1980, when that easement was signed and executed with the township. And I did some research because as a law student with the summer off, I have nothing better to do. So I thought I would take a look. It didn't take me very long to come up with case law dating back to as early as 1894 that says the township, through formal government action and treating the road as if it's owned, will accept dedication as a formal street. Now I thought, okay, and I have the cases here and I could read them, but I'm not gonna take up all of your time with that. But there are some important points here. One of them being, even in the face of express denial by the township, it doesn't matter. Actions speak louder than words. The intent and the way you treat the road is what matters. That's what the courts in the state of New Jersey have said. So I thought I would look into what is government action that this body has taken. I came upon Fairfield Township Ordinance 2022-12. It's a bond ordinance you took out for $912,000 for road repaving and resurfacing. Number one, resurfacing of various township roads. Included in that list, Martin's Lane. Mr. Gasparini, you signed this ordinance. You say no government action, so you haven't dedicated the road. You're willing to take away vital public safety services from the elderly and disabled, but you voted for it. You signed it. You took out debt in the name of the township for this. And I have the vote records here, if anybody would like to see. And the signature page where you signed it. Right here. Then I thought there's no way. Then I came across Ordinance 2023-17. You reauthorized it. Mr. Gleese, this time you signed it. While still telling my 88-year-old grandmother, you're not gonna plow the road. because Mr. Gasparini claims there's some liability all of a sudden. You've been plowing the road since at least 1980. You've paved it twice. You put a water line under it. You have a sewer line easement, and if you read the easement, we're not allowed as owners to touch it. Can't build under it, in it, on it, above it, whatever the easement says. And if I have to come to the town to get a permit to break open the road, well, it's in violation of the easement because it runs with the land forever. So if the easement's valid, how do I go against what the easement says? You can't, this can't. And then I decided to do a little bit more research, and I found the local bond laws, the state of New Jersey. 40A:2-49. The local unit and all persons interested shall forever be estopped from denying that such ordinance or its final adoption or issuance of obligations thereunder do not comply with the provisions, or from questioning in any manner the validity of such ordinance or obligations. You have obligations under this ordinance to pave the road. You chose, the township engineer chose the list of roads twice. Also, so you have obligations under the local bond laws. Obviously, you should know this. Then I decided, let me do some more research, and I found the Township of Fairfield Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan from 2004, reauthorized multiple times, last time 2019. Page 7, should be interesting, the Road Erosion Control Maintenance Plan. Township of Fairfield using the Public Works to inspect areas along the roadside for erosion, identify problems, report to the Public Works. Mike DeMontagne was in charge back then. Bobby Payne's name is up here now. During normal daily activities, erosion detection will be directed to the Public Works Director for repairs. There's 4 things on here: Park Avenue section, Lane Road section, Beverly Road section, and Martin's Lane. You treat it as a township road. You have for over 40 years. The state of New Jersey, the courts in the state of New Jersey say it's a town road. Your actions say it's a town road. You passed the bond that said it's a town road and incurred debt in the name of the township and signed it. But yet you want to tell my grandmother you're not going to plow a road? Come on. This is not the Fairfield that we all know, right? We're not doing this. We're not being bullies, because that's what this letter is. Because you only sent it to my neighbor. She's not the only one that lives on the street. That doesn't make any sense either. And then it says legal experts. Who is that? Is the township attorney? Does he have the full story? I don't think so, because I don't think he would make a determination such as that with the full story. So I'm confused. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth here, and we're bullying old ladies and the disabled. You don't think there's liability if there's a foot of snow and you don't plow it? Something happens to my grandmother and it's not plowed? What happens to my 9-year-old? You know how many kids live on that street? No, you don't care, because you made a decision. You told my grandfather for years before he died that he was wrong. That man was a lot of things, but when he had a point, he was right. But the difference between my grandfather and I is I'm educated. And I'm not going to sit here and let you guys push around my grandmother and my disabled mother. That's crazy, especially when you've voted twice to incur debt. All the case law here says I'm right. It's not because I want to be right. It's because that's what it says. Men smarter than me have written opinions for over 130 years saying so. So I don't understand your letter. It doesn't say anything. You copy and pasted the right of way and put it in there. You said the easement validly exists because it exists. I don't know what that means. You've already appropriated the money twice for it. You still won't do it? You'd rather threaten my grandmother? It's not funny.
It's not funny, but the way you depict it is because you're just throwing out things for the sake of throwing it out.
I'm not. Do you want
If
to read them?
if
Do you want the
read-
case law?
If you read the letter, okay, the
did.
letter went to the person who was inquiring.
Mhm.
And that's why the response went to the
But
person.
you're taking services away from everybody, are you not?
Not taking any services away from anyone.
Should I read it?
You can read the whole thing into record if you'd like.
Well, I'm
But-
just
What
asking.
it's talking about is a right-of-way that was created many years ago
Right, which nobody-
for the 5 properties on that parcel to have access.
Which no one's arguing.
And the easement for the sewer line is not under the road, it's off to the side under Mr. Laurie's section of the property, goes under his property. I'll let the attorney deal with the rest of it, okay? How Martin's Lane got on that list, I have no idea, okay? However, let me tell you how a bond ordinance works. We put a list of streets on there. We go out to bid. When the bid comes back, if it meets the amount of money we can spend, those roads get paved.
So you're saying you'll pave the road?
The ones that are on that list, such as for this year, if it don't get the amount of money, they don't get paved.
Right, but that's not the point I'm making. Again, you're conflating issues. I'm saying you've taken official government action. You've included Martin's Lane in your bond ordinance as a township road. That's the only reason it would be in the ordinance, because the township engineer told you. I have a voicemail from August 11th, 2011, from the township engineer admitting you own the road and that they're gonna pave it.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't
that-
answer for somebody from 2011,
No,
that called you.
August 11th, 2021.
Okay,
The current township engineer.
I'll have to ask him why he would say something like that. I
Because
really
you
don't
own the
know.
road, because the town engineer before him that put together this included Martin's Lane as well. You passed 2 bond ordinances, you treat it as a public road, but then you stand here and you argue.
I'm not arguing.
Well, I mean, this letter is an argument.
No, the letter is a
And-
response to a neighbor, one of your neighbor,
Right,
one of your
I know, I talked
grandmother's
to her.
neighbors that inquired. That's
Right.
what that letter is.
So the issue I have here is you're the only one who has their foot in the sand saying, we're not gonna do it. Everything else the township has done, including you, as mayor for a long time, said the road is a township road. The case law says so. You didn't address the water line that's under the road. Who put the water line under the road? I'll tell you who, the township. Do you wanna know why they did? Because they condemned the wells on Martin's Lane. They dug up the road and paved it and put a water line under it. That's also in the case law. So the way you treat it is what's important here, not what you say. So there's a problem, and I don't understand why you have such an issue with it. The money's
Nobody
already-
has an issue. We did research.
What research? What new
You have
information?
you have all the deeds in front of you.
That's not research. No one's arguing that there was an easement or a deed, but an easement can be an intent to dedicate a road. And acceptance is the way you treat
It
it.
was not an easement, it's a right of way.
It's Mr. Gasparini, you sent me a copy of the easement. Easement and right-of-way are 2 separate things. In your letter alone, you said there's an easement and a right-of-way
Easement for the water line, right of way for the,
for the street. But
for
an easement
the
are 2 different.
access to the
Right.
parcels,
But a
correct?
street, a right-of-way and an easement are 2 different things.
Correct.
Okay, you just told me they were the same thing.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
You're calling it an easement. I'm calling it a right of way
No,
and
I-
an
you're
easement
not
for the water
understanding
line.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. An easement can be used as a vehicle for intent to dedicate a road for public use. And acceptance can be done through formal government action and the way you treat the road.
But it wasn't done.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
Let
it
me,
was.
no. Listen, I heard you. You please have the courtesy of listening to me.
I
I'm
will.
John Miller. I'm the township attorney.
I see that.
And I
How are you?
researched that. Okay, just listen.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
In 1957, sometime in the 1950s, before 1957, St. Martin's Lane was created. It was created by easement, and it was created when the lots in the area were located in Caldwell Township. As time went on, the properties were conveyed. The first deed that we had a record of when the properties were located in Fairfield was in 1959. That easement, the right-of-way, was referenced in that deed in 1959. In 1962, the Lauries purchased their property and they had access to the property based upon what was written in the deeds through what is known as St. Martin's Lane. Later on, the Lurys, the Martins, the Heaths, all got together and they executed and recorded an easement in 1967. That easement stated that the right-of-way, it memorialized the right-of-way that always existed. That easement stated that it is still in existence. It stated that it's a private right-of-way for the benefit of those property owners. That was recorded in a deed back in 1967. Since that time, there have been other deeds where the properties have been conveyed, and they do reference the easement which created the right-of-way. At no time was St. Martin's Lane dedicated, or did the township take any legal action under the law to accept those roads. It's a private road. It was a private road created by the easements that were signed by 8 people.
You know, my
the- of-
grandparents have
let-
lived
let
there
me
for
fin-
65 years, I
Let me
understand.
finish. I listen to you. Please
Not
give
giving
me
you a
the
hard time.
courtesy.
It's okay.
Since that time, there has been nothing to change that private right-of-way. Nothing has changed. There's been no deeds recorded. There's been no formal action taken, and it has to be taken under statute. It's statutory as far as whether a township accepts or dedicates a road. You admitted yourself that it hasn't been done there since then. Let's move ahead to 1980 for the sewer easement. There's a sewer easement that runs along, I believe the Lurys granted over their property in 1980. There is a portion of the sewer easement that runs along their property. But the right-of-way, the easement, that is on their property. It's on Lot 20. It's not a separate road. The road is part of Lot 20. When the township sought an easement for the sewer line, they went to the owners, including the owner of Lot 20. They obtained the easement to construct the sewer easement. It's common in sewer and water easements in that language to not only when private property owners grant an easement to a public entity for a sewer water line, to permit the township to come in and perform any maintenance or any upkeep that has to be done on the water line. And that makes sense because the sewer line and the water and the sewer lines and the water lines are established to serve the public. So rightly so, the township has the right to go in if there's a problem there, if there's something wrong with the pipes, if something's got to be fixed, it's got to be fixed right away, and they have to have the right to do. They have to have the right to do it. The restrictions that you termed, they're not restrictions as far as on the easement. The restrictions is that if there is something that goes wrong with the easement, if there is some emergency, if there's some maintenance that has to be done, then the township needs to get into that pipe, into that easement, and fix whatever it's got to be fixed. The property owners who granted the easement to the township granted the township to the right of that. They're not restricting use of property. It was a negotiated document. It was recorded, and that's a valid sewer line easement. If the township owned the road and had control of the road, the township would not have any need to get an easement because it already owned the road. It could put a water line in it, it could put a sewer line in it, it can do whatever it wanted. But it didn't have that right, so it had to go to the property owners in order to obtain that easement. Now, since 1980, again, there's been nothing that changed. There's been nothing that changed as far as the dedication of the road. There's been nothing to change of that. Couple other things. The bond ordinance. Mr. Gasparini touched on this. The fact that a road is mentioned in a bond ordinance is not dispositive of the fact that the township controls and owns the road. As I stated, the only way that the township can control a road is that if it's dedicated to it and it controls the road, and that's under state statute. That process, as you admitted, has never occurred here. You also have admitted that going back to the easement I discussed back in 1967 was also a valid easement. Candidly, there's nothing else to discuss. It's a private road. It was established by the 4 property owners. The township looked through the deeds. I went through the deeds just to see if there was something that changed that, or something where the township along the way dedicated the road. It never happened.
So,
Let me finish.
I thought you were done.
It's a private road. The township does not have any authority to use public funds, public expenditures to maintain or control a private road. What was done in the past, I can't say. That voicemail that you mentioned, if someone in the township said that to you, maybe they said that in error, but the fact that you've got a voicemail, if someone did make that error, does not change the fact that it's a private road.
Well, it's not someone, it's the town engineer. And,
Let me finish.
oh, again, I thought you were done.
I just said, the fact that someone on there, township engineer or otherwise, said it, doesn't change the law.
Right,
The
and-
law is the public, that it's a private road.
Right, so my issue, and you can, and yes, I did say that there is one way that a road can be dedicated for public use, and that's by ordinance, by
Yeah,
a statute. What-
And it
what?
wasn't done.
Right, you're right, it wasn't. And no one's arguing that. What I'm saying is, if you read the case law and the prevailing case law that has gone on for over a century in this state, it even says, intention of governing body to accept dedication of a land will be drawn from acts done by the governing body, even in the face of express denial, where the governing body uses the road only in a way legally justified on the theory that you accepted it. Right? So the way you're treating the road matters. You're talking about one way a road can be dedicated. But the common law says there's another way. And it's been that way forever. And I could provide you with what I have here.
I don't need to look at it.
Well,
Listen,
that-
let me
well,
finish.
no,
The common law does not overrule statutory law as
if
far
there's a
as the
disagreement, there-
control and the dedication of streets.
If there's a
We can
disagreement,
argue
there
about
is.
that all night, but the common law that you have, if you're telling me the common law overrules the current statutes of New Jersey, you're mistaken.
What I'm saying is, where there's a disagreement, as you know, one goes to a court of law, right? And there is a genuine disagreement. And what I'm saying is, I read the case law, and what it says is, there are 2 ways a road can be dedicated. Now, you can be upset that I'm challenging you. You can use lawyer-like wording and say, not admit that the township engineer was on the other side of the phone. That's fine. We can play games back and forth. It's not necessary.
Just a minute. I am not playing games. You're putting word in my mouth. I'm telling you what the law is. You have rights. When you leave this room, you can do whatever you wish as far as the termination of the township. What I'm telling you is the law. And this Martin's Lane is a private road, period, under the law.
Okay, well, Mr. Gleason, I'm going to talk to you now. I have obviously a genuine issue with being spoken to, and obviously in such a tone, and I can be spoken to like I'm a child, or as if he's scolding me, and that's okay.
Just trying
I'm
to
not
explain,
scolding anyone.
just trying to explain how we derived.
Right, and that's
From
okay.
this.
And the problem is when someone has an opinion that's different, being shut down, and obviously he knows that this would hold up if you went to court, right?
Really?
Because you can prove that the way the township has treated the road is with ownership. And to say, I mean, the town DPW was on Martin's Lane less than 2 months ago repairing the potholes. You guys do that for all private roads? Or no? No, you don't. Because you only use township funds, as you said, for public roads. It's in the maintenance road erosion control plan. That's not a mistake. Being in the bond ordinance from the engineer who left the voicemail is not a mistake. The voicemail is not a mistake. The township engineer, Mr. Catanaro, stood on my front porch and told my grandmother they own the road. So, you guys can get as mad as you want. It's okay. But I don't appreciate you telling my grandmother, you're not gonna plow the road anymore. But you've been doing it for 40-plus years. Statute allows it. We wanna talk about statutes. Statute allows it. So, I'm not sure what else, you know, the town needs. This is not how we deal with, you know, residents in this town for a long time. Being angry, being upset. We may disagree, that's okay. I'm sure you've been a lawyer a long time, I'm sure you're a smart man. I'm not challenging your intellect. I feel like you're taking this personally. This is not personal, this is business. And when it comes to my family, as the rest of you would, I would imagine, we would stand up for them too.
Sure.
So that's what I'm doing. And all the research I've done shows that time and time again, the town has treated the road as it owns the road. Not statutorily, not done through ordinance, but through action. And action is what matters as well. But I think you know that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to come forward?
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just want to let you know that, and we're trying to caution the public that they should not believe unofficial information that gets put out. I had Councilman Campisi call me for an incident that occurred, I think it was Thursday. And ultimately what went out on, say, Ring Neighbors was that we were looking for murderers in the area of Long Acres Road. So ultimately, I hope that they would wait for official notifications from us. If that was certainly the case, we would send out a nixle, send out public information to shelter in place, but it wasn't the case. I just wanted to make that known to the public.
I'm sure you would, Chief, and I didn't hear that, yeah?
Thank you, Gary.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that portion. The next meeting of the mayor and council will be held June 24th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in these council chambers. Do we have executive tonight? We do.
We do.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Motion to adjourn after the reading?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12 permits the exclusion of the public from the meeting of the mayor and council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Fairfield are of the opinion that such circumstances exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Township of Fairfield, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action on the closed session of the meeting of the mayor and council of May 28th, 2024. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed in executive session is,
Litigation.
it is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon thereafter it is deemed in the public interest to do so. This resolution shall take effect immediately. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the motion.
Okay,
made a
motion
motion.
to
I
adjourn
apologize.
to executive?
Second.
Councilman LaForgia,
Aye.
Council President Cifelli,
Aye.
Councilman McGlynn,
Aye.
Councilman Campisi,
Aye.
Mayor Galise.
Aye. We're not coming back, so that's all for tonight. Thank you, everyone.